my goodness, Marlena
Outrageous,
is
outstanding.
yeah. So I saw Marlena
Yeah.
perform a while ago, and I said to Diego, "Oh my gosh, we need this person. This is incredible."
I think she's one of my favorite performers because, like Bree said, it's one of the most unexpected ends to her performances. Like the whole, you know, theme and style is just so unique to who she is. So like every time she's up there performing, or they decide to perform for us, incredible. Everybody's blown away in the audience. It's almost unexpected. That's sort of like unwrapping a present, and you don't know what you're gonna get in the middle. I think that's what you can describe it as, right? You see them go up on stage, and you're like, okay, this is the outfit, but then the performance changes, and it's this whole other. It's incredible. I think it's a nice surprise every time.
I think that a drag king is anyone that calls themselves a drag king. It doesn't matter what you're doing, or how you're presenting, or what gender you are, or whatever, but drag is always about gender and always linked to gender. And I think that no matter what you're performing, if you're calling yourself a drag king, then what you're communicating is a discussion about gender. In terms of media, and in terms of what we consume on stage and in media, social media, so much of that is that the viewer is masculine, and that masculinity is attached to men, and that the viewed is feminine, and the femininity is attached to women. When masculinity is presented as being a characterization of a man on stage, it's really playing with that idea of the gaze, or, who is the viewer, who is being viewed. I think I started wanting to explore masculine traits when I was 9 years old, and that's when I really think that it really hit me. I feel like I've always felt masculine, but I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't know that that was a thing, that was a category, that was something that I was not supposed to be. And when I was 9, I had this teacher who was like really, really conservative. She was a Republican, and she would always separate the class between boys and girls. And I would always just go with the boys. And she'd be like, "You can't do that because you don't have a penis." And I'm like, "Wow, cool. This is great." So, whatever. I would say like in 2016, I was asked to be David Bowie for a Labyrinth show. And that's when it was like, oh, all right, I'm gonna drag up. I'm gonna be David Bowie from Labyrinth. And I felt like this is exactly what I want to do with the rest of my life. When I was performing as a man on stage, I felt, all of this power rushing through me. Like I felt like I was I feel like there's a lot of layers to this, but I feel like one of them was I felt like the audience was receiving me as a man and giving me the respect as a man. Yeah, I feel really empowered. I feel strong. And I feel much more, I feel like I have this freedom to really make fun of ideas of toxic masculinity as well. I feel like Sydney scene is, it's small. I feel like it's still accepting. Apparently there was a boom of drag kings in the 90s, and I wasn't here for that. And I came here when there was quite a lull, and now it's coming back. I think in a few years there will be more and more and more drag kings. I think the thing that I do like about drag kings in Sydney is that their presentation and style of performance is very diverse. An issue that I do have, though, and that I noticed, is that it seems to be almost all white drag kings, almost completely white drag kings, and I feel like that speaks something about having to come from some sort of privilege to feel comfortable enough to be a king. I think the biggest things that I've learned from doing drag is actually self-reflection about my own identity. And that's really amazing. Drag has been, I guess it has. It's been that gateway for me to realize that I am non-binary and to realize my place within the community. And that community is so important. That community matters to me, and that for queer people, community is one of our biggest resources and our biggest strengths, because we support each other. And I think that that's a really amazing thing, and I definitely feel that in Sydney, is that the queer community actually is really quite supportive. I wouldn't be able to exist. I wouldn't be able to make like my full-time living as a performer without the community being there and supporting me and coming to my shows. So I'm very grateful, very, very grateful for that.